guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber, and this story, guys, in my opinion, really is a success story. This is about a guy who was all set to be married. He had been engaged not too long, and in his relationship for a number of years, and when he first met her, everything was great, as they always are. But then in the last, few months, or in the last year or so, he started noticing some unusual behavior. And lo and behold, he found out that the girl he was going to marry wasn't exactly the woman he thought she was. She had some things going on behind the scenes that was absolutely inexcusable, in my opinion, unforgivable, and the guy had the guts to call it off. At the last minute before the wedding, he dumped his fiancee because of the shit she was doing behind his back. And I gotta tell you guys, not many guys have the guts to do that. Most guys, you're going to hear what happened, what she was doing, simply just they'd listen to her BS story. They would have that scarcity mindset and would just go along with it anyway. Not this guy. And I think that's awesome. This guy had enough self-respect and balls to basically say, this isn't happening. You're not who I thought you were. We're done. See ya. And to no surprise, she has a meltdown and a hissy fit and all that. But no matter what, this guy sticks to his guns. And there are a lot of lessons in this story, guys. One of the particular lessons in this story is always, as I say always, pay attention to red flags. Always. It is unfortunate that you always have to be on the lookout for this, but that is just simply how it is, especially in today's world, 2021, with the gals out there. You've got to keep your eyes open at all times. Number two, another lesson is beware of women with daddy issues. I've done videos on this. It's actually been a while since I talked about the subject, but women with daddy issues, it is going to be a never-ending drama. Okay? Because number one, because they were disappointed by their fathers growing up. The dad wasn't there. The dad didn't give them enough love and affection. Number one, they typically end up always needing to make up for that from other guys. And not just a few guys. I'm talking lots of guys, okay? And they're going to constantly need attention and validation to make them feel whole because they didn't get that from their dad. Okay, I'm sure many of you guys that have gone out with gals or had girlfriends or even wives that had daddy issues, you know what I'm talking about. Another thing is they typically don't trust men and they always expect them to disappoint them. So a lot of times they'll sabotage relationships and things like that. I mean, I've known some women with daddy issues. I've gone out with women with daddy issues, and it always happens. And this girl, and you're going to see this story, has daddy issues, okay? Another important lesson for this story is, guys, to take away is about how women crave attention and validation. And obviously the ones with daddy issues take that to a whole new level. So always be aware of that. So, and there's other lessons here I'll point out along the way. So jumping right into it, the guy says, "Hey SSM, love what you do, and your words help me man the F up and get out of a bad situation that I should have left a long time ago. Let me tell you my story." He says, "I'm 25 years old. She was 26. We met a long time ago, around 5 to 6 years, I would say. We had hit it off immediately, and it seems that things just clicked, as they often do at the beginning. Of course, they always click in the beginning. In the beginning, hopes are high. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's on their best behavior. It goes both ways. I'll be fair here. Both men and women are usually on their best behavior in the beginning if they click. And, people that may have issues, they can disguise the issues. They can masquerade the issues for a while. But eventually, people's true colors eventually come out. It could take years, but they will come out eventually. This is why I tell you guys, for you guys that do relationships, you got to really take your time before you actually to get to know the girl before you actually become exclusive, for lots of reasons. One, so you find out who you're actually getting in a relationship with, learn about what her personality's like, her true character, not to mention, hopefully, her history to protect yourself in terms of things down there. I don't need to elaborate there. But also the fact is that you don't want to rush into a relationship, because if you rush into it too quickly, for her, it's too easy. And she'll get bored and figure, oh, that wasn't hard. So maybe this guy isn't as high value and you're not going to be treated as well. But getting off track here about that, guys. It's always wonderful in the beginning. Everybody has these high hopes. And when people really are into each other, they tend to ignore the red flags, okay? They just, that's just, it's my imagination or whatever. You got to pay attention to these things. He says, "We had made plans to be married sometime soon. I hadn't set a date yet due to financial issues." He says in parentheses, "In hindsight, that was a blessing in disguise." So I'm wondering if he meant that They made plans to get married soon after they started dating, which would have been a huge freaking mistake. Or he meant soon as in recently before this story was written. I'm not quite sure there. I'll have to ask him in an email. He said, we told our families, friends, everybody, and all seemed like sunshine and rainbows until I finally started to see her true colors. Like I said at the beginning, it's always sunshine and rainbows. A lot of people think these things are Hallmark movies and Disney movies and all that until reality sets in. Now listen to this. He says, I began to notice her behavior was changing. She got seemingly addicted to social media, especially Instagram and Snapchat. Again, attention and validation. To women, or let's just say, let me rephrase that. To all women love attention and validation. It doesn't stop when they're little girls, teenagers, 20s, 30s, 40s. It goes all the way up. They love attention and validation. It's like a drug to them. But some take it to a whole new level, as you're going to see here. He says, what she was posting didn't seem like a huge deal, mostly pictures of our dogs, nieces, and nephews, and stuff we were out doing. That was until I discovered she had a second account that she didn't want me to know about. That's how it starts, guys. They start with a regular account where it's just vacations and the dog and the cat and hanging out together and things like that. No harm, no foul so far. But then that attention from the likes and the comments, that's not enough. And then a lot of times the girls, whether the guy knows it or not, starts another Instagram account where they start putting pictures just themselves. Lots of selfies and all that. Beware of the girls that have the Instagram accounts that are all selfies of just them, okay? Beware that they want attention and validation, and it doesn't stop. And notice those pictures. First, they could be more, everyday pictures, them out and about, picture her at the bar or out with her friends. But then it's a little bit more of a skimpy picture. It might be her, her on the beach, but you just see her from the top up. Next thing you know, it's full-length pictures of her whole body in the bikini at the beach. Next thing you know, that's not enough attention. Then it's her in the thong, right? And the next thing you know, it's her at the gym lifting weights with the very, very short shorts doing squats. You see what I'm talking about here. It continues. Then it's videos. Videos, her dancing at the club with a short skirt on. On and on, attention. Then usually that's when things like OnlyFans start. You guys follow me here. He says, now listen to this. He says, let me preface to say this by saying that she had major daddy issues. Now that should have been a red flag early on that he should have been out of there. Guys, any girl that's got daddy issues, don't waste your time with. Okay? She may be hot, great body, beautiful face. Maybe she's really cool and fun to be with. But the girls with got daddy issues that you can connect the dots to see they have daddy issues, part ways. Do not get yourself in that situation before your heart gets involved and you start getting attached to her. It's going to cause you nothing but headaches and problems. Believe me. Says she has daddy issues. Her biological father wasn't in the picture and her stepfather was a drunken fat ass who was barely involved. As a result, she was starved for male attention. Ding, ding, ding. It explains the secret Instagram account. Amongst probably many other little things that she said and did that he simply just really didn't pick up on early on. Daddy issues, right then and there. The biological father was in the picture and her stepfather was a piece of crap who was barely involved. Translation, she wasn't getting all the love and affection as a girl growing up and the reassurance and the protection of her father, which I hope everybody has. But she didn't get that. And therefore, she needs to get it from every single dude that crosses her path. Like he said, as a result, she was starved for male attention. At first, mine was enough, but as they often do, she eventually wanted more. They're always going to want more. And this is why, guys, you don't want to be in a relationship with girls with daddy issues, because eventually when your attention is no longer enough, they're going to get it elsewhere. But they'll probably keep you around because they need to have that rock in their life, but they're going to go someplace else. And what you're going to see here is exactly what she did. He says she was posting booty pictures and other explicit images on the secret Instagram account and had been doing so for over a year by the date attached to the first picture. What'd I tell you? I guarantee it started with just regular casual pictures. The next thing, as he said here, booty pictures and other S-word explicit pictures on Instagram, right? And I guarantee it probably, if he looked at the first pictures and then the pictures from like the most recent pictures, I guarantee it over time they got more and more graphic, more and more explicit, because that meant more likes, more comments, more direct messages and compliments. And maybe that would lead to her having an OnlyFans. Back, I know they're changing OnlyFans, but back before OnlyFans decided they want to make a change, that would have led some of these girls to making accounts so they can make money off it. He says she was posting, oh my bad, I read that already. He says she was also especially involved with one particular account that was tagged in her bio. The account was private, but it was obviously another dude. Written like something at some other dude is my daddy. So not only she has a secret account for a year. I mean, she's with this guy. They're engaged. He initially thought she was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And she's got a whole separate account showing her whole body to the world. This is his fiance. This is supposed to be his future wife, potentially a mother of his children. And she's got to do this. Okay? In my opinion, this is cheating. All right? Lying, cheating, whatever you want to call it. But you're going to see that she doesn't exactly see it that way. He says, needless to say, I was furious and confronted her about it right away. Now listen to this. She furiously tried to defend herself and deflect blame onto me by saying things like, why were you snooping? And you're so insecure. All because I had found this account by pure accident. So instead of owning up to the fact that she'd lied and been showing off her body for the whole world to see for a year, behind this guy's back, who's supposed to be her future husband, father of her children, all that. Instead, she twisted things around to make him out to be the bad guy. How many of you guys out there have had girlfriends or girls you dated where they were mistreating you, and you called them on it, and they twisted things around to make you to be the bad guy, right? I've been there. I'm sure many of you guys have been in that situation. No different here. He says, I'd asked who was the guy tagged in the bio, who he was, and all she would tell me is that it isn't my business, that she can do what she wants with her body, and that he was a fan. Bullshit. That is his business, because again, he's her fiance, and they're supposed to be married, right? Well, we know the old values that were once held by people are long gone, and again, it's my body, I can do what I want. Here come the sirens again. My body, I can do what I want. Well, where does that mindset come from? Where does that attitude come from? I can tell you where. The feminist movement. It's done wonders for today's world, for bromance, for relationships, for marriage. My body, I can do what I want. Bullshit. We're engaged to be married? That is disrespectful to me. That's lying. That's cheating. At that point, I just left the house and went to my brother's place. He let me sleep there for the night to gather my thoughts and decide on what to do with her. In the morning, I simply told her it was over, to pack up her stuff and leave my apartment. Needless to say, she wasn't happy. Oh, I'm sure she wasn't happy, and I'm sure that was the last thing she expected. She probably expected you to go along with it. She probably expected this guy to be like, okay, I'm wrong, because a lot of guys would. Because it's possible in her perception of this guy that he wasn't as strong as she thought he was. Well, the joke's on her, because this guy had a lot more self-respect and balls than she obviously expected. She started saying things like, you're really going to end things over this? And what about the marriage? You bet your ass he's going to end things over this. Over this? You've been lying and cheating for a year. Connected to another dude, showing your body to the whole world. You're supposed to be my wife, lady, or soon-to-be wife. Can you imagine being married to her? Can you imagine if he got married to her and she was pulling this crap? Hey, they're married, and depending on the state they're in, no-fault divorce, she's going to get half his shit, amongst other things. He said, all I could say was it wasn't happening anymore, and she wasn't the person I thought she was, and that if she wants to be an e-girl, then she can, but she can't do it with me. After much screaming and yelling, she finally stormed out. Good for you, bro. I am very, very proud of you, very impressed. Like I said, a lot of guys wouldn't have the guts to do that. Good for you. Good for standing up for yourself. Her stuff is now gone, and I'm on my own. While at first it hurt knowing that someone I once trusted and cared about deeply could betray my trust like this, I've since moved away from that line of thought. Yeah, dude, you wouldn't be human if it didn't hurt you. If you told me here that you didn't care and that was it, I'd have a hard time believing that. You're obviously a human being, okay? And yeah, you're with her for 5 or 6 years. You're going to marry the girl, you know? And a lot of times when you get angry and fed up over a situation that goes wrong, kind of like this, your anger is going to take over. But eventually when you cool off, that's when you start thinking things over. That's when you start thinking, did I make a mistake with that decision? Was I too rash? No, you made the right decision. And yeah, being upset about that and thinking about these things, that's normal. But good for you for doing this regardless. It says, I'm better off now, and she isn't going to disrespect me like that, nor will anyone else for that matter. I dodged a major bullet, and I couldn't be more grateful that I found this before I legally attached myself to her. Exactly. If he got married to her, and she wouldn't stop, there's no way she's going to stop. If he called her on it, she could have been like, what are you going to do about it? Divorce me? I'm going to get half your shit. That's what would have happened. But good for this guy. And like I said, you know, the girl with the daddy issues, she needs that attention and validation. This is a perfect example, guys. And mark my words, I'm going to assume that she is obviously above average looks if she's obviously doing these pictures on Instagram, and I'm just going to go with that. So she's not going to have a hard time finding another dude because she's in her mid-20s. She's still in her prime. And I guarantee you, no matter how good that guy is, how much, even if he is definitely a high-value guy, he's good with women, makes good money, resources, takes care of himself, in demand. It wouldn't make a difference how many good things he has. She would still do that. She would still have to get attention and validation from other guys. That's how this works, okay? So, guys, to learn from this guy's story, like I said in the beginning, always pay attention to the red flags. Always keep your eyes peeled. You got to do it. It's just how it is. There are too many temptations out there for these insecure women that need attention and validation to get attention on social media, dating apps, and other things that may not even be aware of out there. They wait to get the attention and validation. Pay attention to red flags. Next up, like I said, about daddy issues, avoid the women with daddy issues, okay? You can connect the dots. The ones that obviously had a bad situation with their father growing up, the ones that didn't get the love from their father growing up, all that, and they are constantly trying to get attention, avoid them like the plague, you know? Maybe you can hook up with them once or twice or something if you have the ability to, you know, move on from them. Okay, that's one thing, but I would, quite frankly, just don't even bother, okay? And last but not least, about the whole attention and validation thing, they all want it. But guys, you gotta have the strength to walk away, and that's what's awesome about this guy here. Look at the bullet he dodged. Okay, what if he married her? Imagine that. Imagine how bad that would be if he got married to her. I mean, just unbelievable. But anyhow, guys, great story, man. I'm really proud of you. Good job. Focus now on you. Focus on your purpose. Whatever you're doing for a living, on your job, try to make more money. Try to improve yourself in your job. Hitting the gym, working out, hanging out with your buddies, having a good time. And if relationships is your thing, okay, fair enough. But definitely you learned this hard lesson about the screening process. And I'm sure you probably learned at this point, yeah, marriage is not in the cards for me at this point. But you had to learn the hard way. But again, you learned young. So, but anyway, great job, and I wish you the best. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.